Welcome to The Economist Reader. Here is today's episode. Leaders. The presidential election. Welcome to Trump's world. His sweeping victory will shake up everything. The most consequential American president since Franklin D. Roosevelt. It will take time for the full significance of Mr. Trump's victory to sink in. Trump wins big and fast after defeating Kamala Harris, and not just narrowly, but by a wide margin. America's 45th president will become its 47th. In 2016, when Mr. Trump defeated Hillary Clinton, Democrats dismissed the result as an aberration fueled by racism, sexism, and Russian disinformation. But this year, with Mr. Trump winning the popular vote with the backing of a multiracial, working-class coalition, such arguments are harder to sustain. One is a long-term trend of racial depolarization. American politics has realigned along social and cultural lines, making religion and education crucial demographic variables. Voters never forgave him for the burst of inflation that began in the summer of 2021. And women, whom Ms. Harris had expected to move to her, also swung towards Mr. Trump. Most damaging of all, voters throughout the country were infuriated by the Democrats' failure to stop people crossing the southern border illegally. Republican control of the Senate smooths the way for Mr. Trump to make important appointments, from cabinet secretaries to generals to Supreme Court justices, that require Senate confirmation. MAGA is a moment of iconoclasm against the kind of benign internationalist who occupied the White House for 70 years. This week, a majority of voters embrace it with their eyes open. His victory will inspire imitators elsewhere. In Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro was elected 2 years after Mr. Trump won in 2016. In France, Marine Le Pen now seems a more likely president in 2027. Without American enlightened self-interest as an organizing principle, the world will belong to bullies. Countries will be more able to browbeat their neighbors, economically and militarily, without fear of consequences. Their victims, unable to turn to America for relief, will be more likely to compromise or capitulate. The old order in the new world under him, Americans can get on with their lives free from the weight of foreign responsibilities. And yet, 2 world wars and the collapse of trade in the 1930s say that America does not have that luxury. For a time, possibly for years, America may do fine. Eventually, the world will catch up with it. Vocabulary. Infuriated. The CEO was infuriated by the leak of confidential company data to the press. Iconoclasm. The Reformation was a period of intense religious iconoclasm in Europe. Benign. The doctor assured the patient that the tumor was benign and would not require further treatment. Browbeat. The manager was accused of browbeating his employees into accepting longer working hours. Capitulate. After months of negotiations, the company finally capitulated to the union's demands for higher wages. That's it for today's episode. Hope you like it. See you next week.